Sorry for the difficulties. You guys couldn't hear everyone talking. So we have D, we got Hub, Steelbirds chilling with us, and Tony. Hope everyone's having a great night. We were talking about the autoflower competition, and I did ask what autoflowers are you guys going to grow for it. It's like Steelbird, you said you had some seeds. Which ones are they?
I got mutant genetics, some freebies from Multiverse, uh, Seed Co. Mutant genetics, stone fruit auto, and then Atlas seed tricross. And I think Hubba has a bunch of shit.
What's up?
What
Your auto.
autoflowers you growing?
Oh yeah. Well, the ones I'm growing like for the contest, yeah.
Yeah.
Mango Smile crossed with Three Bears OG. I got some of their freebies from Mephisto. I think that Mango's a big one, and then Three Bears is like a tiny one. And then I got a bunch of freebies from Ethos and what's its
That's awesome.
Humboldt Seed Company.
That's awesome too.
The Three
Um,
Bears, man, Three Bears has got a really unique smell to it. Yeah.
Everyone says it's a good autoflower. I thought that was a James Loud thing, though.
Mephisto has a Three Bears OG. I don't know about James Loud. But yeah, it's a smaller auto. You really want to make sure you give it like a really good like start because it's definitely a smaller one. But yeah, it's got a nice real dense buds. It doesn't yield a whole lot, but man, it's a good one.
I have Insane in the Membrane going right now.
Nice. Insane in the brain.
I don't know what I want to do for the show. I mean, for the competition. I have some ethos stuff like you like. I think that's probably it right now for autoflowers. I used to have um fast buds, but I don't have any more. Those would have been fire. The purple lemonade would have been perfect for this competition. Um, so yeah, I'm having a fucking dab real quick. So a Steelbird sent me a bunch of seeds um, for to give away at the Harvest Cup, which I have to get them ready and shit. What seeds did you send me?
It's the hardcore from Hardy Gear, Cross and Savage Coast from Mr. Toad. Um, the hardcore is pretty much like a train wreck hybrid, and then Savage Kush is like a Skywalker to Romulan to Cataract Kush. It's,
It's an F3.
um, no, it's a F1. It is a F1. It's probably leaned more towards the train wreck side based on what the mother like. Well,
Okay, good. I like train wreck. I'll put a couple aside.
they were tall plants too. They were tall plants. It should have big cola type thing. Um,
I looked outside today and I got horror. So sad. My Charybdis is straight bud rot.
Oh no.
mm,
That sucks.
Tommy's has a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna be able to save any of the Charybdis though.
Mhm.
Can you
Mhm.
I don't know, can you uh,
Mhm.
What? Run it to BHO?
no, I was gonna ask like wash it or something for edibles maybe, like for something that you'd actually cook. I don't know.
I think the only way to deal with moldy bud is BHO, right?
I don't know, man.
yeah,
That's how they. If there's PM or something on the bud, they wash it to BHO
man,
and it doesn't cut them.
so sad. Yeah, I think that's what they do. Even with the bud rot, they probably just throw it all in there.
That's so good. Dude, I feel bad too because that plant was so sexy. Like, it would have finished early. I'm kind of done growing outdoors. Like, if I do, it's going to be for seeds.
Even then, you'll still get the bud rot, but at least, you whatever you wind up with at the end is going to be good enough. You're just going after seeds, not really.
Yeah, the bud's not going to matter, really.
Nice. That kind of looks like what I got. It's like white. Is that white looking?
Yeah, it's like yellowy gold looking.
Oh, okay.
Sour belts.
Shit, I got it's like white.
It is kind of like sour smelling too. Oh wow.
Hey.
Coot, I'm live on my YouTube, just so you know. I tell everyone that comes in. Tio, I'm live on my YouTube. I think you know that. Mascana, I
Yes,
see
sir.
Crymore. I see CTC yelling at me like always, so whatever. CTC is always yelling at me about something. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How you doing, brother?
Good. Just hanging out, man. Figured I'd do my show tonight.
Oh,
Cold.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cold, wet, rainy. Fucking kind of bored. That looks good, Steelbird. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
It's like crumbly looking stuff. It's white. That's pretty much the color right there. It smells good though.
Yeah, this one smells really good. Holy shit.
Yeah, we're coming.
You've been invaded.
I know, it's okay. I don't care. It's an open show. I like Fumi.
Invasion.
The raid. We're live on YouTube, by the way, everybody.
Wait, Yoki, like Fumi. So what do you say?
We are live. So just try not to talk over anyone. Let everyone finish for a second before. Who was making food? Was that Coot? Oh, that was maybe Tio.
No.
I was
Tio.
cooking.
Rice and peas, bro.
Tio's
Yeah,
cooking.
man.
Yeah, man.
What's up, Flora, Kush? Everyone's heard Clackamas Coot already. Thank
Doing
you
good.
guys.
We were having random conversation over on the other thing. We saw you were live, and so we thought we'd all join for you. How you doing today?
Me? I'm fine. Just hanging out, man. Cold and wet and rainy today. I went to go get some Mexican food. That's about it.
Hooray!
I had some fajitas. They were actually fire though.
Looks like you got so higher.
Fajitas are always good.
What was that, Fume?
You're so higher in space.
Dude, those fajitas were fire. I'm telling you, it
Well,
came
but
out.
isn't your background like Mars or something? Or is
Yeah,
it like Mars?
I don't know. There's mushrooms. If you look at it, it looks like a mushroom.
All right, never mind. You're so higher amongst mushrooms or some shit.
It looks like kind of like a different planet. I would say that it's a mushroom planet. Oh shit, I never noticed that mushroom's moving. That's funny.
Or is it?
Yeah, it says not live on mine, but I've already changed the name for the other room. I never reset the room because mine says let's get smashed not live. Evil Deadly Farts joined. A few you heard Fumi. Thank you guys for joining. His background is fajitas. What are you guys smoking on? Anything good?
Gorilla gas here. Same old fire.
I'm actually eating Trader Joe's M&Ms, but I might roll up some goji pie here in a second.
Goji pie. I haven't heard that one. Coot's obviously either smoking
Fancy.
Pacalolo or T.O.
I got that. Actually, it's not a new one necessarily, but I finally got a chance to flower it out. Everything is Overhyped gave it to me a long time ago, honestly. It's cherry pie by Goji OG. It's really good.
I'm nothing if not boring. I mean, as far as like this.
You're predictable for sure.
Predictable.
I know
Hang
you're
on,
either.
Cherry Pie Goji OG was Nerds from Badger. Is that what you have?
This is not. This was actually a different cross, but it's almost identical cross. I think it might be backwards. Was the Nerds? Was it Goji OG
Nerds
by?
had,
No, you're right. It was the Cherry Pie by Goji OG. So it's almost exactly the
yeah,
same. That's
because I
interesting.
grew that tester. I grew that
Was
tester,
it good?
and it was really good. Yeah, it was super good.
I actually have seeds of it. I don't.
Someone.
what?
Oh
They sent me
shit.
to grow all the seeds and now see what the difference is because it was from a different breeder. I don't remember who, but I know everything is overhyped. Was a big weed nerd, so he did grow a lot of TGA stuff over the years, but he
Oh,
specifically was not from
that'd be
TGA.
that would be really cool for you to grow it and to kind of
Yeah.
see the expression of it too, because see with how good a selection they made on the goji. The cherry pie should be the same because it's clone only.
So
Great thought, Adam. Well,
someone handed me a whole bunch of limoncello seeds today, and I was like, "Where the fuck did you get these from?" He's not a grower
that's
by
right. I was
any
thinking about that.
means.
That was the first strain that I grew. It was all back seed. I got it from a
That's what
niece
it
of
was
lemon.
too.
Yeah.
He's like, one of my friends plants hermed. I'm like, sick, thanks, man.
Yeah, prone strain, right? Yeah.
I took a. I'll do something with him.
I mean, it was good weed. Just don't. How do I say this? Don't be surprised by some freaking manners.
Whatever. Sometimes it happens, I guess. So I'll just do it. I'll do it alone. See if they pop some. I heard limoncello is a good strain though. Like, if it's like doesn't, but I have heard of it like popping seeds more than once.
Okay, Flora. That picture is of the TO taken within the past 48 hours. So it still has another, let's say, 6 weeks. We'll
Damn.
say.
How tall is it? I'm trying to think.
Is that going to finish outside in Oregon?
No, this is in, excuse me, the Midwest, Illinois,
Oh, okay.
Central Illinois. Here's give you an idea of the size. Oops.
I see a stake next to it. I just don't know how tall that stake is.
Okay, I'll show you in a second. Hold on.
Stone Root says Goji OG is awesome. Collective Mary Jane, cheers. Thanks for coming in.
Do you think it's like a necessity that plants? What am I trying to express? Do you think the time that they grow is a necessity in the high that you're expecting? And I guess what I'm getting to is like, is there any way that you could select a shorter flowering TO or Pacalolo or anything else that would flower, let's say, in 9 weeks, but would have the same high? Or does it need to have that extended time to develop some particular component of the high?
Wow, that's way above my.
Well, you've
Okay,
taken
here
it
you
to
go.
crazy long. You've said it. You've taken it to what, 18 weeks maybe?
Yeah, indoors, yeah. But there's the just for so it's almost 10 feet from the top of the container.
Okay. What's that, a
Which
500?
is only,
A 200?
that's 605. So that's 3 yards, 3 cubic yards.
Yeah, they're about as big as that house.
Yeah.
Huge
Damn,
motherfuckers.
those are some big boys. Well, females actually, big girls.
Yeah.
Is it like almost 3 meters from the bottom of the pot?
Yeah, that's about right.
I don't know what's 3 meters in feet. Someone educate me right now.
Meters,
Yes.
9
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah, 9 feet.
Okay.
Meters, 3 feet.
A little bit over.
Yeah, I always fuck that up.
What is that? What's that,
Vanilla
D?
cake. Vanilla McCain cake. Deep and delicious.
Oh my god.
Munchies.
Oh. Mmm.
Deep and delicious. That's what she said. Deep.
Oh, me too.
Oh.
He goes,
See?
I was waiting for D to do it, but Kush beat him this time. Wow. That's a
He was
first.
flipping.
garden.
Learn from the master.
I got a fucking. I'm kind of sad. I was
Okay, wanna
talking
go
about
over
it. So my Charybdis outside, it looks like it's not gonna make it. I went out there today. We've had serious low drops in temperature, a bunch of fucking rain that's happened, and it's just been hella moist. Then the temperature dips down at night like crazy. We're talking. I've almost been at freezing already.
Wow.
We've
That reminded me of we were
40s.
talking about a few weeks ago. Next year, you might really consider putting a fan out there. People laughed at Sub when he showed videos of it years ago. Because they were like, "Oh, you're in California. Why the fuck do you have a fan basically blowing through your garden?" And he was like, "Motherfucker, it's 110 degrees in the daytime, but it's 60 something at night. It's a 50-degree drop. These plants get moist in the morning. It
I
gets
have the
cold. Like
dew.
if I don't blow air over these, things, they're gonna rot, you know." So that's one of those things, man. I fucking feel you. Like a few of my friends have lost crops like 3, 4 years in a row. It happens, man.
You know, I've actually kind of made a decision, and I'm like, I do so good indoors, and I honestly enjoy indoors a lot. Maybe I'll just do outdoor seed runs because I won't fuck anyone else's crop up around here. No one else grows around me. So maybe that's where I could make seeds. Because if it rots out a little bit or PM, it's not gonna bother me too much.
I would just say, man, I would just say keep trying because the beauty of outdoors is that you, for no amount of money with electricity, you can get literally, like Coot was talking about, you can get like a 15-pound plant, honestly. You know what I mean? It's just, you have to learn little by little by little how to adjust to your environment. And I mean, it's fucking farming. Farming is not, it's not easy. You know what I mean?
So
It's a
when
real profession.
I've learned with the farming aspect outdoor growing, numbers is the thing you want. So 3 plants is going to be harder than 10 plants to harvest. You know, you'll at least get 5, let's say, out of the 10 you
People forget
plant.
how long. Yeah, man, it'll take you sometimes a day to harvest one of those big plants. You know what I mean? And what if the freaking rain is coming and you got 10 plants? You're kind of fucked then too.
Yeah, exactly. I got 30 plants and I'm worried about it right now. Like when is the rain setting and when do I have to harvest?
Yeah,
Here's something
Yeah.
to consider, Smash. What if you started your plants that you are going to put outdoors, whatever that number is, and do them in a decent size so you can get a good root ball, say a 7-gallon plant, pot. How's that?
yeah.
Number 7. And if you grew it indoors and got it of a large size, whatever your early date is there, look how further ahead you would be by putting a larger plant outside in the ground to start getting ready for the summer flip, or from spring to summer. I'm sorry, the solstice.
I see what you're saying. I usually try to go with
it.
a 1. But I
You
see
could
what you're
start
saying.
up,
Go bigger.
Yeah, go
start 'em
bigger
on.
and start them indoors and get them really nice and lush and, with a nice root mass. And so when you go to transplant, you've got a solid, like a sapling in the tree business.
So I
You
have
know,
one of my best friends outdoors is my shed. So if it starts coming on set, like if we're gonna get a snow or it's gonna start raining, I can physically dig my plants up, put them in like 20 gallons or whatever, and throw them in my shed with a light.
gotcha.
So like that's kind of like I think next year I'm gonna start them in my shed with a light, and then
Yeah.
use the
And not only
outdoors to
that, but
flip.
you might think about building an actual enclosure. I can show you pictures of like how Stevie does it. I mean, we have basically similar weather problems basically
Hmm.
because it gets moist and windy and all that kind of stuff and rainy. So he puts like corrugated plastic over basically
Yeah,
just
it's like
4 to 6 supports.
okay.
Yeah, but I have to say he puts a little bit of the plastic on the sides too to keep some of the wind off the sides. And then in your case, I would just put like a cheap outdoor fan, basically an indoor outdoor fan. And I mean, you can get those for less than $100
Yeah,
easily.
I know which
And
ones
then I
you're
would
talking about.
on a timer every night, basically. I would just have that blowing through the canopy, basically, to make sure that there's no like buildup of moisture. You know what I mean?
Because I do get like if I go out there in the morning, let's say like our the show stops late one night, and I stay up till like 6 7 a.m. I'll go outside and check the plants when the sun's coming up, and they're wet. They're wet. Like
Yeah.
everything's moist. Like there's
And
a
that's where it
dew.
is. Yep. And if that wetness doesn't basically, like, it's not actually a problem that the plants are wet, but it's a problem that they stay wet, especially in the little cracks and crevices, basically. So
Is it
and that's
rain?
why they say never to shake your plant after it rains, because the plants will evaporate just fine, and actually the water usually beads up on the trichome heads. But if you shake that fucker, the water will actually get in between the cracks and crevices of the plant, and it can't get out and will never dry out. And then you'll have a good rot
So
situation.
we had, you guys know what happened in Florida this past week, right? Like they had a massive storm come through, flooding throughout all of Florida. All that whole system came up to us. Like we didn't get much of like the crazy hurricane. It was offshore a little bit, but we had really high winds, really like torrential downpours, and for like 4 days, it was insane. Like this wind, I haven't seen wind like that.
So you had rain for 4 days,
Almost, yeah.
and what flowering phase are you in?
I'm flowering now.
Okay,
Fumy
but then
stuff,
you will.
fumy stuff would be almost done, I think.
Yeah, like if it's like almost done right, then you have like issues. But if it's in early flowers, you should be fine.
One of them is actually early flower, but the problem with early flower here is I'm never gonna finish. I mean, late flowering here, I'll never finish. Or early flowering, like Fumi's would have been perfect. Now that I think about it, he's right. I should have fucking bought one of those fans. It probably would have benefited me more than anything else. Um, but I have one plant out there that just started to flower. It's really just getting its bud sets, and I'm like, that you're never gonna finish out here.
Oh, is that Tommy's? Yeah, that
Hmm.
probably won't fit. It'll be
I
interesting to see.
actually I actually do shake the water off my plants. I just did it today in the morning, and you know, I guess a little bit humidity. Like if you have like a little moist stack up throughout the night, like in the morning, that's a little, just a little bit. I don't think this is an issue, but heavy rain, continuous rain, especially over 4 days in the late flowering period, yeah, that just has to cause issues.
It could be too that you haven't ever had any problems because you live in a nice, warm, dry climate too. Yeah, 100%. I mean, how do I say this? Everyone has different problems. Like you may never really experience rot where you grow. You know, no matter what you do, maybe you won't have rot. Whereas here, we can look at it wrong and it'll start rotting. You know what I mean?
I actually did pretty good with the bacillus this year with the PM. I didn't notice it until I was in flower when I kind of stopped spraying the lacto on it.
I was just gonna say I've heard such good things this year about IMOs and basically any plant. I've heard a bunch of the experts, Chris Trump and a few of these other guys, basically say um, any plant that has IMOs in its regimen basically will not get pathogenic infections. And I kind of question him on it. Hey, is that basically absolute? And you know, he said no, it's not absolute. But I've never seen a plant that was currently in a kind of IMO regimen. The indigenous microorganisms, I guess, was called that ferment basically, or what
Hmm.
is it? A collection more than anything else, I guess. Apparently, it's exceptional for getting rid of powdery mildew, any kind of fungal pathogens. Not only that, but also many plant pathogens,
It's
because
easy.
evidently the plant is just inhospitable for a lot of critters. Yeah, and I don't know why I've been snoozing on it all this goddamn time, but I guess I just didn't need it maybe.
Let's
But
do it
now I
together.
yeah, we should freaking do it because now I have PM spores, and like it's going to take me a while before I completely eradicate them if I ever do. And so now I don't want to keep fighting an uphill battle basically and just keep spraying something that doesn't work. But basically spraying IMO in there, it'll be short work. You know what I mean?
Lacto works really well. Like bacillus, the one Dirty Indica used to send me, um, was amazing. And then I found lab grade lactobacillus acid that I think they make yogurt with. So I started to use that to a certain when I ran out, and it works pretty
What do you
well.
call it?
Some people do. They just spray milk or even yogurt or Bulgarian yogurt. What is it? I can't think of the word right now. Anyway, yeah, whatever. But kefir, there it is. They'll just basically dilute a little bit of kefir into water and literally spray that, which sounds ridiculous until you realize literally kefir yogurt is basically created into yogurt by what is it? Not streptomyces. Lactobacillus is the other one
yeah,
basically here. I'm gonna look it up. Go ahead, Coop.
you're thinking of Terraganics. Used to
No,
be
I'm thinking
E1.
well, Terraganics basically is like the commercialized version of that basically. Like you can
Right,
literally
right,
if your yogurt.
right. Yeah, that's all it is. Yogurt.
So Atomic just brought up a really good idea, and shout out to Stony Creek, Lars, Atomic, Stone Root, the American ones in chat. What up? What up? Atomic said, let's do a Discord thread and learn how to make it together.
That's a fun idea.
That's cool. Another thing, you can also go to your brew store and get the lactobacillus for making sours, like beer sours.
Right.
And you can grow your own. Like you get a beaker and a stir plate, and you can put a little bit of wort starter, and boom, you're off to the races.
I mean, so I'm going to say this as a complete, like, well, first got to qualify this. I am not an expert in freaking fermentation stuff. I've been looking at these people talk about this stuff from a distance. But it makes sense to me that the logical kind of argument is the same, that you should use as much endemic stuff. I guess I'm comparing it to how I talk about like mycorrhiza and stuff like that. I'm always saying that like the factory or lab-made, lab-grade mycorrhiza that they can churn out by the billions of spores down in Florida and whatever, it's next to useless compared to the stuff that was actually grown like on wood or better off like even actually in soil. So when you find the stuff that was grown, what is it, in vivo, I think they call it, instead of in vitro, that stuff is a lot more beneficial. The forest grown mycorrhiza, in my opinion, again, this is based on observation, not actual direct experience. It seems to be that the endemic lacto would be a lot better than factory lacto. I don't know. Do you have a thought on this? Because like I said, I'm approaching this as a beginner, basically, in terms of like IMOs and stuff. That's my same criticism, to be honest, against EM1. It's basically a factory lacto. Go ahead.
In the years before the CANF, there was a very interesting gentleman from the Philippines by the name of Gil Carandang. And he was brought to the United States by the people behind Cornell University brought him for a series of lectures, but his thing was about doing fermentations out in the wild to get the culture going. But anyway, he called his BIM a beneficial indigenous microbe. And all the recipes that later appeared in the KNF can be found in his work. So it's Gil Carandang, and it's spelled Carandang, and you can find some of his lectures online. And that's a more non-factory, non-commercialized approach to these cultures, and using them, like to use eggshells and heating them up until they char, and then harvesting the calcium phosphate.
There's something, as I'm thinking about this, Coot, there's something amusingly anti-commercialist. We were kind of talking about like government stuff before the show, but I'm just amused, like a lot of the stuff that you're into, a lot of the stuff that you kind of preach, and even to a degree, these natural farming folks, the Korean natural farming and others, they're basically anti-commercialist in the sense that they tell you, here, you can farm with all of the stuff that's naturally available, like literally around you. And that's no matter what the size of your farm, you can apparently scale up, even in terms of large, well, according to them, I'm not an expert on this, but according to them, you can scale up basically almost infinitely with the material on your property, and you basically don't have to buy anything. You know what I mean? And that's so different than what we've been told, that you have to go and basically shop at the feed store.
So if we take it away from the IMO and we just talk about chemicals or compounds in general, Hamilton Moore, the Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia, he was talking about the frog that makes you trip, and he was talking to the people that like do it as like a religion almost. They have like a meeting and stuff, and he's like, why would you keep harming frogs when there's a chemical now that's exactly the same? So in a scientist's eyes, if it's made in a lab but it's exactly the same makeup, it's the same. But if like a person, the people that use it were like, no, it's different because it's not, it's more spiritual, there's a different attachment to it.
I like
I did.
I think it's a better metaphor than exact analog because I think when you're like taking something to trip or whatever, that's you can chemically synthesize medicines all day long.
It,
I guess it's the same thing to be honest, but it's also different. I feel like the whole effective like I'm not trying to get my soil to be medically different. I'm not trying to get it to feel high. I'm not trying to get it to feel low or anything else. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get the soil to do a soil cycling thing. So I'm not trying to laugh at the metaphor. I understand what you're trying to say because it is kind of it's like terpenes. The artificial terpene companies will tell you all day, every day.
right,
Pharmacists
Lars.
about this on the show. They say that the artificial cannabis or even the non-cannabis derived terpenes supposedly should be chemically identical. But any stoner will tell you a pen that has the cannabis terpenes is vastly different, night and
it
day.
it's
One,
like isolate versus full spectrum, kind of.
yeah, in a way, you know what I mean? In a way too. So I don't know. I can't say conclusively if that's true or not true. My gut tells me, my experience tells me no, but that could be bro science too. So
Yeah,
I like to po-
good,
I
dude.
like just to point out. Sorry, I like just to point out, but when they cast that frog on Hamilton Pharmacopoeia, they don't actually hurt the frog. They tickle it, and they make the glands produce that stuff when they scrape it off. So, and then they release it after, so they're not actually hurting the frog.
The
Uh,
toad.
yeah,
Yeah.
but not everyone's that nice. We'll put it that way. That's our we're
True.
we're one
True.
of the biggest enemies to that frog. I think
Toad.
toad. Sorry, whatever. Amphibian.
Yeah.
Um, but I kind of always understood it like that way. If it's chemically the same,
Oh.
then it's the same. It doesn't matter where it comes from.
Yeah, I looked into that, and yeah, exactly. I mean, you have maybe remains or not. If you have like 99% point nine purity, I guess, yeah. But you could be a little bit off. You could be off small numbers percentage. You could be off depending how it's being synthesized, um, and if there's like leftover products with it, or if you could filter it all out. Um, really depends on what.
I would say if you're gonna get the lab grade stuff, get multiple strains of it and blend it together. But otherwise, just do the rice wash lab. It's gonna be a bigger, diverse
apparently it's so easy. I don't know what I've been waiting for. Everybody basically tells me it's so easy a kid can do it, and kids literally do it all around the
What
world. So
IMO?
yeah, and ferments in general. Apparently none of it is really that complex.
No, dude.
Uh,
Trump has a
Even the
whole.
PNF, they've laid it out.
It's
The only complex part was it used to all be in Korean, but now it's all been translated and everything else. The whole brochure is like 25, 30, 40 pages long. I can't remember. It's not that long.
So
I mean, none of these things are complex.
even though Chris Trump charges, if you go to his YouTube, he has how to make IMOs. He has almost everything out there already. He shows you. He's the one I learned how to make an IMO box from. He's like, do it like this. It works.
Hawaii natural farming site is pretty good too with Drake and also the JDOM stuff is really nice. Like if you have trouble I have trouble with IMO collections, so I do the JMS, the JDOM microbe solution, and it's kind of same but different.
Same.
Hey, Smash,
Yes.
I heard you mention yogurt cultures professional.
Yes.
Those are available at Amazon. And you could select like Bulgarian, Greek, different cultures, and probably save. It's worth looking into, see if you can't save some money. And these are professional grade inoculants for people making their own yogurt and what have you.
Okay. I'll take a look at
So,
that later.
yeah.
Thank
Check
you.
it out. Yeah, you're welcome.
Four Plants A's in chat. What's up, man? Lars is talking about a lot of stuff, and he says they hurt the frog harvesting them from the wild. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind. We should do that. Like I think Atomic was right. We should post a thread on Discord, see how many people are interested in, just see. We'll all do it together. Shit, we could follow whatever, whoever. Trump has it. Chris Trump has an easy one to do. Fucking Stone Root says I'll make IML boxes.
No.
Have you done the sock? Put the sock or the pantyhose. Wash the rice and put it in the pantyhose and then bury it in the ground for a month. Have you done that type of collection before?
No, the only one I've done is I've started to like look into like IMO 1, I guess it would be. That's the collection box, right?
Hey, Floral, that's Gil Carandang. That's the writer who started that back in, well,
I saw it 20 years ago, and I don't remember who it was, but yeah.
Yeah. He's exactly that, doing rice out in the forest, half buried. I don't remember exact protocol.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Out in the forest and buried for about a month, and then he would collect it. He had there was a whole series of videos also when YouTube first came out that a guy put out. It was the same process, and that's good information. I like it.
I like the idea of Jadam sulfur, like a natural sulfur for sprays and pesticides, like IPM, I guess, and pest management. But
what is it?
The sulfur used to be used to get rid of powdered mildew. That was real popular. People would run the sulfur burners, but I don't know how you would derive that yourself. I'm not sure. I guess
they have it in Jadam. St. Bernard's is the one that actually was like, I'll send you some, bro. I was like, I never took him up on it. I should have, to see actually what it did and how it worked. But yeah, it's in the Jadam.
The current method right now, because a lot of municipalities outlawed sulfur burners, is to use wettable sulfur. So you basically micronize the sulfur into a semi-water soluble solution. You can spray that on your plants. That way you can get around the EPA. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you're in veg, and you come across like a fungus gnat or any kind of nasty critter, that micronized sulfur, you make a foliar. That'll do it.
Me and the fungus gnats made friends.
And the one you want is sulfur oxide, which is sulfur and 4 oxygen ions. That's the compound you want. You can find that at Amazon, probably by the pound. And then I can't give you, because I don't know. I can't give you a mixing ratio. At least that'll give you a starting point to find it.
I think it's like 3 pounds for like $12 or something like that on Amazon.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but Bonide, the same one he has in his hand, they sell micronized sulfur in a powder, and it's much cheaper. It's like $10 for a big giant bag, and it works great. It'll get rid of any of your bug problems.
CTC is making fun of me because I say
everything down afterwards.
I remember the days of renting a sulfur burner from the grocery store.
I wouldn't do that. That just doesn't sound like. I don't even like the idea of propane burners.
The smell is awful, man. I do not miss that sulfur burner smell.
Sulfur smells like farts all the time.
No, so burning pure elemental sulfur is
like
worse than that.
The worst rotten eggs and like the worst farts you could combine together. It's just terrible.
Right. It's fucking horrible.
By the way, I was looking up EM1 and cat food, and I was like, okay, so I'm just curious, are they the same thing? Yes, they are almost exactly the same. So EM1, they say one trademark product was originally from 1985, marketed as EM1 microbial inoculant. Lactic acid bacteria, Lactobacillus casei, photosynthetic photosynthetic bacteria. This is the one that Kaffir doesn't have, Rhodopseudomonas palustris, but it also has Saccharomyces cerevisiae and other things. Let's see here, whatever, a bunch of other different random stuff. Whereas Kaffir has, just a moment, Lactobacillus acidophilus, Bifidobacterium bifidum, Streptococcus thermophilus, Lactobacillus delbrueckii vulgaricus, Lactobacillus helveticus, Lactobacillus kefironifaciens, Lactococcus lactis, what the fuck is this? Leuconostotic species. We're going to go with that. And then they also have Saccharomyces, several different kinds of Saccharomyces, Fragilis and Cerevisiae, Torulospora delbrueckii. What else? A bunch of other stuff. Veromyces marxianus, on and on and on and on. Far more microbially rich. And it basically has everything except for the photosynthetic bacteria, which you can actually get from Photosynthesis Plus.
Oy vey, that's all that stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
And they fit all of that in one little spoon of yogurt.
Yeah.
Now, Fume,
Pleasure.
as a group, those bacteria fall into the category called PNSB, purple non-sulfur bacteria. Now, one of the things that one of those that were in the original EM1, so they were all yogurt cultures, and plus these two PNSB strains. But the other one, you'll love this one. So you're familiar with Belgium lambic beer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a specific lactobacillus culture that's used to ferment the beer. So making it unique, meaning that if you go to a brew store and tell them you want the
Brettanomyces, yeah.
right for making the lambic beer, there's your premium grade
No, good.
lactobacillus culture.
This is going to crack you up. This is how beer culture is here in the Northwest. I have friends who have their favorite hops, and this is both men and women. They literally have their favorite hops. So when they go and there's an IPA or something, they'll ask which hops it has, Citra or Mosaic hops or something else. I have other friends, if there's any Brettanomyces in the beer, they won't drink it because they don't like Brettanomyces. Whereas, for example, I like that Belgian flavor. I have friends, basically, if it has Brettanomyces on the label, they pass on that beer. Doesn't that crack you up?
Wow.
As a home brewer, I will tell you that you can taste the difference between the different bacteria. The different bacteria give off a different flavor. You can actually taste it if you know what you're doing.
That makes all kinds of sense. Absolutely.
I like Belgium beer, Belgium wheats.
Yeah, see, and I like that profile, right? It's that kind of, I don't know, earthy, but also a little tiny bit musty or something in the background. And I have a few friends that just can stand it, you know?
I think it's kind of mild compared to other beers.
Now, Fume, let me explain what happened with EM1. It gave birth to an entire industry or subsection called AEM. So EM was enhanced microbes, right? And AEM was activated enhanced microbes. And that became this obsession with people like Tim Wilson that
can they be nanotech microbes next?
Microbe Man and all that stuff. Yeah, AEM. Oh yeah, that was. I had fun.
And EM5, remember that one?
Oh
EM5.
yeah. EM5.
Yeah. And there was the willow water, which the willow water actually works.
That's the thing. Willow water is unsynthesized
salicylic acid.
Yeah.
That sure does work. Use aloe vera.
Yeah. Aloe vera is good too.
Here's a question. What do you think, Coot? I mean, we could actually do an experiment on this one, to be honest, on our server if we wanted to. Do you think that willow water or aloe water, or I don't know, the what do they call it, the juice of the aloe or something, just kind of consuming something? I guess you can have like aloe gel or whatever, consume that, or an aspirin. Do you think you'll get the same response from those? Because the aspirin is basically just a synthesized version of supposedly the willow water, right?
Right.
And what about And what about the Viagra?
Does that come from a plant?
Oh. I thought we were doing it. Well, I thought we were doing a test.
I just want to
Hey,
take Viagra.
That's a different topic, D.
Okay.
It's called.
It up because I was like, Fumi uses Viagra to keep
Yeah,
his plants sturdy. But no,
Yeah, that's pretty fucking funny. I should.
so with aspirin, they add, don't they add caffeine sometimes, unless it's pure aspirin?
Bro.
Can
It's like a whole Lance Armstrong situation, bro. It's like a steroid. You're steroiding your plants, bro, to get them to stand up.
I'll order some
Matt,
blue chew and we'll see how it works.
the compound aspirin is the acetyl form of salicylic acid,
Okay.
and it was developed by Dr. What's the big brand of aspirin?
There.
Fair.
Bayer, Dr. Bayer in Germany, where they're still based.
Kaiser.
And yes, they started back in like the 1860s, I think. So they didn't know about aloe vera has far, far, far more salicylic acid in it per pound, or however you want to, measure it, than does climbing trees to get willow shoots. It's not necessary.
Hang on.
So if you use aloe vera, just buy the leaf and use the gel on the inside, cut it open so you can get to the gel and use that as a rooting compound. You'll have one of the finest rooting compounds on the planet. It's almost pure salicylic acid. And it's in a form, with all the other constituents in biology.
The only time I used to collect willow shoots is when I was fishing on a boat and there was on this certain lake had a willow tree that hung over. I'd go fish it,
Right.
might as well fucking grab a couple while I'm out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, if I catch a fish, I harvest it, I eat what you can, and I reuse whatever the fish, the head, the bones. I try to use all that in my gardens. What's up, Drake?
Yeah, long time no see, bud.
Damn, I
Hey,
feel.
how's everyone doing?
Just so everyone
Yeah,
knows,
what's up,
we
Drake?
are live. That's it. Good, Flora. My bad.
Oh, cheers, Drake. Good to see you,
I
bud.
was saying, what's up, Drake? Haven't seen that guy in a long time.
Yeah.
We started to talk about Jadam, and he was like, "I gotta go." My ears are ringing.
Yeah,
Where's
been
Burn?
keeping the
Yeah,
garden,
burning.
making lots of hash, keeping busy.
Right on.
What do you think about that, Drake? We were talking about synthetic versus indigenous microbes. What do you think if you could theoretically buy a shake and bake, microbes in a can, basically that resembled an IMO? Would that be just as effective as an actual indigenous microbe, or what do you think?
I am definitely going to stick with or us, the leaf mold soil from the forest for sure. But that's just me personally.
It seems logical to me. It seems like just like I don't know, Flora. What do you think? We were talking about
You
food
don't
the
want to
other
use
day. I
recharge?
try to seek out organic food as much as I can from the
Yeah,
premise
but
that
are you talking about cultured microbes that are grown in a lab, or are you talking like an actual some type of synthetic organism?
oh, I don't think the synthetic organisms exist yet. Although there was a story the other day that some scientists supposedly were able to create synthetic organisms by somehow manipulating dead microbes. I don't remember I don't think I actually read the whole story, but yeah,
Yeah,
Is it the one I
I
posted?
don't know.
maybe.
I think with the lab grown microbes to the indigenous microbes, it can be um, impossible to do indigenous microbes at scale. And so if it kind of depends on your application. If you're a larger facility and you're commercial and you're doing this for money, you're not going to have access to go scavenge a forest, you know. But you definitely can buy bottles of microbes that are lab grown.
Yeah, why not?
So
When I say this, I mean, I agree with you. Like, it's if you buy 64 acres of freaking farmland or whatever, there's probably not a forest attached to it that you can safely basically rip leaves off for your freaking IMO. I agree. But let's say, for example, you were to in the future change your premise and say, okay, I'm not buying a 64-acre farm. Rather, I'm buying, and I'm making numbers completely up right now. I'm buying a 56-acre farm, and the remaining freaking 8 acres or whatever are going to be forest, or whatever the case may be, or it's going to be a grass seed fucking farming, so that I could. Again, I'm not super good at IMO stuff. I'm not super good at Korean farming. But my point is, maybe you would.
I still think it's problem.
That. Go ahead.
Yeah, I still think it's problematic at scale, though. No matter what, you're gonna spend your whole life like making those ferments and collecting those organisms, and
Well, the
I don't know. I
idea
just think
is
very,
if you're going to
if you're a
scale,
home garden, I think if you have a home garden and you have a greenhouse and you're growing food and you're doing things for yourself, um, you want to do it as natural, or not, shouldn't use that fucking word. You want to do it as organic as possible. But if you're a commercial facility, I think you're gonna run into problems with sourcing.
Well,
so
you would, how do I say this? You'd hire a fermentation expert, basically. You know what I mean? Like if you're talking about at scale, if you're talking about a large, I don't know, thousands or tens of thousands of acres or something, you'd have at least one actual fermentation employee, and I guess
yeah,
their job would be to source vegetation and then ferment
real
it and whatever else. And presumably,
realistically, you can make
I'm really
SOPs on it. Like
And
it's
then,
not gonna be too hard.
another thing is then like you run into a state like California where they're like
No
any kind of
microbes.
microbial
Yeah, no microbes.
any kind of microbial activity detected, you fail, burn all your shit.
I heard it's like
So for
a
instance, for
flat
like
plate count.
for Jadam specifically, just because that's the lane that I stay in, it's for 2 acres or larger. I'm not too sure on the scalability. Like in the Bangay village, we have a family of 6 that's maintaining a 100-acre property and providing for their village and the ones around via trade. So it's just a proper understanding of the actual practice and how to utilize it, which most of us just don't have. So there's definitely ways to do it at a large scale because that's actually what it's
I get
made
that,
for.
but when I'm not talking about for a home. I'm talking about for commercial cannabis, like a licensed provider. And then you have these things where if you detect any kind of microbes, you fail.
Well, it's not
I
just
think
so it's a
it's
flat. I hear it's a flat plate count. So if you're over a certain number, oh, sorry, forget Jimmy.
Oh, we're just talking over each other, but I'm just saying, like, that's the kind of fucked up cannabis laws. Like, and of course, everyone's like, yawns, like, yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. But my point is that at some point, someone is going to have to resolve these cannabis laws. I mean, I guess not. They could always get worse. But presumably, hopefully, they will get resolved nationally and so on, because you wouldn't have a lot of these problems if you were a cucumber farmer. You know what I mean? Like, we can all kind of acknowledge that if you think, like, oh, the question was,
They probably let
like,
a what PM go
is
through.
fucked up compared to
No, if
avocados or anything else. You know what I mean? That would be far
if the
easier to go ahead.
if the food market had to go by cannabis laws, none of us would be able to afford to eat.
Hey,
Yeah,
Coot.
couldn't avocado or anything.
Yeah, Coot's been in it. So like, if like a harvest of squashes had PM, they're just gonna pick the fruits and sell it, right?
Yep.
Well,
Well,
there's microbes in all your produce. That's how it starts rotting. You know what I mean? Like you didn't. How do I say? You didn't inoculate your tomato at your house. It came with fruit fly eggs. It came with fucking fun with everything else.
Ew.
It just continues growing at your house.
every commodity sold in the United States and its territories, you can look up that commodity
Oof.
in the federal registration administered by USDA. And here are the standards, and that allows for mold residue. You can have a test that's called having a federal pull. And the receiver has the right to refuse the load if it doesn't meet the standard for that commodity.
You're telling us.
And what's that?
We're just fucking around.
Oh, so anyway, that's what, now it's on the street, this load, and the shipper definitely needs to get rid of it because after a certain amount of time, he starts paying for the truck and the driver. on a daily basis. So the easiest one is it goes to a food processor. It's less money, but it's better than taking a loss. You know, you paid for the fuel and the labor. That's unfortunately what happens. Or it goes to pig farmers, swine operations.
Thank you.
They throw away a lot of food in shipping.
Oh God.
Shipping is literally the death of everything.
Yes.
Yep.
It amazes me that in
Well,
2022 that temperature controlled trailers are so
They have them, but
dicey.
it's way rare.
Well, they're dicey. I mean, you put on a load of, say, berries on the west, grown on the West Coast, and you have to take it consigned to a Boston market or New York City. That's a lot of miles, man. 3,000, what, 3,300 miles
Yeah.
with berries? Yeah. I mean, a driver can only do 600 miles a day.
That's the other thing. People don't realize that they have computers that tell them to stop, and if they go over that, they get charged or something.
Yes.
They get fines.
Fines.
yeah, not
Yeah.
every truck has it. Even though it's
And
a law, not every truck has those.
some of the more sophisticated carriers, they will actually shut the truck down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
You're
yeah,
given
if they own it.
you have 15 minutes to get to a safe zone.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm glad. You guys remember what it used to be like 15, 20 years ago when fucking
Thank
trucks,
you.
like, you'd be on the freeway and the truckers would be just gacked down on meth or whatever. Any truck stop, you'd
Okay.
stop. And, like, literally, the guy's standing there basically with the urine next to you, like, jittering, basically. Yeah, I'm glad that they have to take breaks and stuff.
Oh, they've always had to take break. We've always had to take breaks, but the thing is, a
Glad we-
lot of drivers wanted the money. They wanted the money, so it was money over
Yeah, the
everybody's
more you
safety.
drive, the more you make.
Yeah, you're racing for that next load because it's the first truck that gets there gets that load. So you're racing for that next load. The one of the worst things in the world you can ever want to do is bobtail. Bobtail means that you're
Yeah.
driving without a trailer. It's like you bobtail, you're making no money. So the worst thing that you ever want to do is have to bobtail to your next load. So it was all a race against time, trying to be the first truck driver at that facility to pick up that load to make it to the next facility. And you could back in the day, man, you could spend fucking all summer and never go home. You could just go from load to load to load to load to load to load, and then 6 months later say, "Fuck it, I'll go home now."
Hey Dale, that's what I used to do was load produce trucks out of the production regions into
Mhm.
warehouses in Seattle and Portland, and
Oh
to
yeah.
some degree Spokane. So, I mean, produce drivers, they got it easy. All the loads are motor on, motor off.
Yep. No
Pelleters
touch
load,
break.
no touch freight, close the doors, roll. And
Mhm.
insane money I mean, compared to, say, a load of canned goods. Produce is like the highest paying, well, actually seafood and meat, but you get the idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then and then you got trucks doing fuel and whatever. They're probably
Well,
making
that's
more money.
yeah. This is just like easy stuff,
Yeah, I would
not
figure.
special.
I would figure they
Not,
fucking pack your truck for you because they don't want you to fuck it up.
Not
oh, when you
not
go
every
into
facility.
loading sheds for produce, the people there know how to load a truck, and I would instruct them, do not have any conflict with the shippers. They know what they're doing. They'll put your load together correct, legal, you know.
Bill of lading correct, all that stuff to be correct.
Exactly.
What up, Gokowski?
Crazy business, man.
I thought about doing trucking at
But
one
it's
point.
money. It's a money making business if you know what you're doing.
Yes.
I smoke too much weed to deal with that. You can't really do anything with a trucking license.
Nope, sure can't. Well, you can't do interstate.
Right. Yeah, and then you learn all the, peculiar stuff, like you can't send a felon into a state or federal prison on a delivery.
Yep.
You got to get a driver with a clean record. Shit like that. Yeah, there's some other peculiar, I don't know about peculiar, but interesting things you have to work around.
Trucking is actually one of the most felony-friendly jobs, I think.
Oh, it is. That's my point. But you can't send them into state or federal prison for a delivery.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't think so.
You
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
I've gotten deliveries for like Danvers State Prison. So I walk in, it's like federal. It's where the Boston bomber and shit went, and I've delivered them food. And it's kind of funny. I never even knew it was where it was. I pull up and I'm like, what the fuck is this? A mental hospital? I walk in and I ask. There's like really nothing labeling it, and they're like, it's Air Force, like.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. I was like, this is crazy. I want to leave here, please. I probably reeked of weed and shit.
Yeah.
I was on a long drive. It's far away, so I smoked a bone on the way there.
And you go into like a downtown area, like a downtown Chicago, downtown New York. It'd be just another freaking building it's a nondescript, no signs, no nothing. Next you know, it's full of FBI, CIA, Air Force. The building is like buildings will be built in the like out and open, but no signs. There's no description, no nothing. That'll be you just pull in. Next, you know, you're talking to Air Force personnel. You're talking to, whoever. It's like, okay, why is there a guard? Why is there an armed guard here? Oh, you just learn to shut up and just keep going. Go, Doc 3. All right, no problem. Doc 3. All right, shut up. All right.
So I
drop the hook.
How did I end up at Area 51?
It reminds me of that.
What's that?
I think I was just talking over you. Old Boy. It was a Korean movie from like maybe 15 years ago, and they remade it actually just like maybe 5-6 years ago with Josh Brolin.
Oh, the Japanese movie?
Well, it was Korean, but then it was remade. Spike Lee, I think, remade it. Basically, so the remake, Josh Brolin basically is kind of this dipshit that gets imprisoned into a private prison for like, I guess this is a spoiler, for like 20 years. And then basically at some point he gets suddenly released basically. And he decides to kind of get revenge on the people that imprisoned him. But basically the whole premise was that he was imprisoned in like a private prison for like 20 years. Not like a state private prison, but literally like, anyone off the street could basically say, hey, I want that guy in prison for 20 years. And this place would basically do that for you.
So
I saw the original. I didn't see the remake.
Very good action movie. Anyway, not like plot or anything.
Have you seen the original?
SWAT. Look at this shit.
Yeah, it's got this freaking legendary fight scene in the hallway where he just
it's badass.
Yeah.
It is badass. So what you showed us?
This is where I delivered food to.
That guy, when you said the Boston bomber, I didn't make the connection.
Yeah, he was there. I think he was in there when I made the delivery.
Wow.
That's freaky.
Yeah, he's the one that dude, that was a big hit to Boston. Like, that was crazy.
Oh shit.
I almost went too. Like, that's the fucked up thing. I was almost there. I used to love going to Red Sox games, and they have Red Sox games usually the same day as the marathon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking horrible, man.
Now, was the Boston bomber before or after the Atlanta Olympic bomber?
I don't know.
After?
Yeah, much after.
freaking nuts.
That was crazy. It was good,
What do I
Fumi.
say?
My bad.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't remember exactly the year, but that was definitely after the so-called War on Terror. Like the two brothers were like Dagestanis or whatever. Interestingly enough, Dagestan now is probably gonna pop off in Russia, right? But anyway, it's one of the like Muslim regions of Russia, and yeah, I guess that's the whole relevance of it. It's not that important now, but it's
Mhm.
crazy how times change. You know, like how do I say this? I remember it was kind of roughly about half my life. Basically, it was sort of before the terror, and then after the war on terror, and everything's different now. You know, the airports are always a really unpleasant experience. We always have to take our fucking shoes off now.
Yeah.
On and
Oh,
on and
I
on.
always
You
wear
know,
slides
yeah.
though. I don't even
Airports
fucking
were so
care.
chill. You'd walk in, you'd walk out. Your guests, literally, your friends could walk with you basically to the gate.
Yeah,
You know what
now
I
you
mean?
got
Yep.
to go through like a whole
It's
security
all gone.
gate, and you can't leave. Like for people like me that smoke cigarettes or vape, going through the security
You gotta
gate
go.
is like ah.
100%.
It, everybody talks about the airport security, but
I
that's
like
not
it.
even like the biggest that's not even the biggest change that happened from the Patriot Act. Like the Patriot Act changed so many things in our lives that we don't even think about. But oh my God, what do you call it? The 48-hour detention, that was the Patriot Act. The FISA courts, that was the Patriot Act. I mean, there's so many things about our lives that were changed, in my some for the better, some for the worse, and it's oh my God, we lost so many civil freedoms from that act. I don't even know how much of it's good and how much of it bad, but it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm thinking like I can't think of anything good to be honest. You know what I mean? I think it was all bad.
No, yeah, yeah.
So there's a couple people, Fumi, in the chat that hasn't heard about the contest we have going on. You want to shout it out real quick?
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm not following the chat, right, by the way. I'm just kind of working back behind the scenes here. Ladies and gentlemen, basically sign up over at my Discord. I bet Smash is going to post the link here in a second. Fumidoro Discord. We call it Fumidoro City of
DBB.
Gold. We're literally right there right now.
Into it.
Basically, just come join us and put your name in the desk autoflower grow right under the Morgana's Lounge, basically. And we're sending out seeds courtesy of, I'm surprised he's not here tonight, but Bud Kilowatt, basically, who usually comes on my show. His good buddy James Loud basically threw down a bunch of seeds. So everyone's going to get 5 autoflower seeds, and Locke, who probably is in the chat, honestly, he threw down for shipping. So everyone's shipping is pretty much covered. So all you really have to do is put your name there. I don't know how much easier it could possibly be. I guess you do technically have to click the Discord link. So that's maybe, if that's too complicated for you, maybe pass. But everybody else, sign up pretty much and come play with us. It's going to be super fun. It's literally going to be for, like, how do I say this? Literally a goofball grow off for fun. Grow on a desk with a desk light in a 1 gallon or smaller pot. That's the only rules pretty much.
But there is a best cheater category.
That's true. But we're not going to tell you how to cheat. So you're going to have
No.
to be creative. And, most creative cheater literally wins an award. So, yeah, man. It's going to be super fun.
Yeah, I can't. So yeah, we have seeds. We were talking before you came on. I'm probably gonna use something I have in my collection. I think Steelbird's got something he's gonna use. It's gonna be cool to see all different. Like, I'm actually gonna try to bonsai mine like I used to.
Well, right on. I mean, I'll still send out those James Loud seeds, but whatever. Like I said, there's a couple. First of all, there's a couple people who think, they've said before, like in the Discord, they live too remotely. They don't think they're going to get the seeds in time. That's fine. If you can get your own autoflower seeds, you're more than welcome to join us. And then all you really have to do is just put your name in the Discord, or just email me at Fumidor@Chronic Table, or if you want to just, some people probably just want to grow by themselves. Okay, that's fine. Just watch us. But in the meantime, it'll be super fun to see how all the different tiny little desk lamp grows turn out. You know what I mean? I think a lot of us are going to, myself included, are probably going to change our minds about autoflowers, or maybe we'll reinforce our mind. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll grow this little plant and hate it, but at the same time, I think I won't. I think I'm going to really enjoy it. I think it's going to be, like a pretty little desk plant that's going to make my life better, and then I'm going to be able to smoke it. How fun is that? You know what I mean? So I think a lot of folks are going to really have a fun experience growing something new and then also it's fun to grow with people. You know what I mean? So I think that's gonna be a riot.
We should make everyone wait to smoke on the same day.
Right?
Everyone
That would
smoke
actually
their
be a great idea. Yeah,
auto
yeah.
flower.
Everyone needs to, yeah, we'll just do like a 2 week cure or whatever, and okay, everyone, or 3 week cure would be better, but still,
I'll
yeah,
put
man,
it
that'd
up.
be
I'll
super.
just put it up in my room. I'll be done in 7 days.
See, that's actually the challenge, you know what I mean? Like, how do I say this? Since we do have free seeds basically coming, if people could avoid growing their own shit, I think it would be better because this is supposedly like a 72-day autoflower or whatever, you know, and a lot of autoflowers, like I know I have a little stash of autoflowers. Almost all of those I think are like 89 to 100 day. So if I grew those, I wouldn't be able to harvest until way after everybody else. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not going to force anybody. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but I would recommend maybe to use the free seeds.
But yeah, I'm down if you want to send me a little care package. I wouldn't mind some Charybdis to play with indoors. I'll pop them right away.
Well, I'm not going to send Charybdis, I have to be frank, but I might send something new because I don't have very many of the Charybdis anymore. I have to be honest. That's why I told you Charybdis, take a fucking cut. That's
I know.
really.
I was sad when I didn't.
I don't get the mom anymore. Like those seeds are literally almost gone. So yeah, I'm probably not
I
going to
have
send you a
one
care
left.
package.
I could pop it.
I would pop it because you're not going to get more from me.
Damn.
Shut his hopes down.
Well, I have more stuff. I have Triangle Kush. I could play with too if I want. I mean, I have so many seeds I could play with. I just want to find the one outdoors I had. That was cool. It was a short flower. I should have brought it indoors, but I didn't think it was going to flower so fast. And I had stuff inside already. Like I had everything occupied. So there was nowhere to like bring in somewhere and quarantine it.
I mean, dude, it's fine. How do I say this? Like, it's you'll live. You know
Oh,
what I
I'm
mean?
kind
But
of
you
sad
learn
about it.
when a breeder tells you that something is rare, listen to them. They're probably not making it up.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad about it. I have one, maybe two more, one more. I know I have a couple more Ghanas to play with.
Yeah, I think you just got to find the right plant that will flower early, man, by just popping more seeds, brother, and keeping clones and whatever, you
I
know.
don't keep
I think
clones.
you'll find
That's
a
the
variety.
problem. I don't. There's
It's gonna suck, but
I have
you'll
too many seeds to
Going to
keep
plant,
going
you're gonna have
through.
to keep clones. Holy shit! Like even when you do
figure
go
out.
seeds, you've got to keep clones.
I
Yeah,
Like
had
figure out
Kush,
the
what would
big
happen
man.
if you lost your freaking your form cut? You'd be lost for a while, right? You'd have to rely on all the other stuff. Like you'd have to keep clones of that.
Yeah, man. That's everything to me.
so I'm kind of in the
Yeah.
mindset of straight variety as much as like I want something new every time now. I don't know
For your
why, but I'm on like
environment,
a little kick like this. That's kind of why I'm kicking out the apple fritter and shit.
yeah. Do you battle this every season, Smash? You got to fight to pull off the harvest before the elements get you. It is, right? Okay, you're right.
Outdoors, if I could do like, if I was doing what like I used to, plant 100 seeds, you could always pull something down. But when you're playing with like 2 or 3 plants, it's always hard to. Everything seems to
Yeah.
attack them and bud rot around here. I don't know why it's getting so cold, but
Maybe you just have to get those Mephisto fucking close to 1 pound autos, man, and just plant them way before the elements. I don't know. I'm
that's
just
kind of why
thinking.
I'm like outdoors. I kind of wanna do seeds out there because it would just make sense for me.
I mean, you know what? Kush just nailed it right there. I'm surprised we didn't ever. It's just basically because we're all freaking racist against autoflowers or something. Like, you need autoflowers outdoors. Like, you need
I,
stuff that will
Yeah.
basically finish when it's still sunny. And you're fine with autoflowers, so grow autoflowers. Seriously.
well, the other
And they've
thing
come
is,
back wrong.
good. I'm not. Hey, trust me, Kush. I'm the biggest advocate. I've been shouting auto flowers for a while and said they've come a long way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you should, man.
I'm
Me personally, I would go the other direction where I'd probably crack 200 seeds of different varieties, maybe 4 seeds of each variety, but probably, okay, say 70 different varieties. Clone them all, and I'll just see which one flowers the fastest, you know, where everything else is flowering. Let's say everything finishes in October, I'd want something to finish in early September, you know, like September 3rd, and just make sure I run the clone. It's a lot of work, but that's what I would do. But man, if you like autoflowers, they've come such a long way, you know. They pull a pound nearly of
But
A minus bud, you know.
so my
It's not boost
my
anymore.
thoughts are, I like giving away seeds at every event, so I might as well start making my own seeds to give away. I mean, I have
Oh,
amazing people like High Desert. I have amazing people like Steelbird that are willing to hook me up to give out seeds, and they want their seeds out there. They're like, they like me. They like what I do because what I'm trying. I know, like, I'm trying to click something in people's heads that, like, oh, maybe I can grow. Maybe like now they have like the seeds to grow, and maybe they will try finally. Like a lot of the weed we get nowadays doesn't have seeds in it like we used to. So when we were all like getting weed back in the day, we all found seeds to grow. Like, you know, like every bit of weed we got, there was some seeds in it. Nowadays, it's harder to find. You even around here, a dispensary is not gonna buy seeded bud like Fumie back in the day, right?
yeah. And another route you could also go, man, but you'll probably need $3,000-4,000 to throw down. Is exactly what our friend High Desert has, that outdoor structure. You know, he's got a beautiful outdoor structure, done it properly with the gravel on the bottom, but that'll probably cost about 4 grand, wouldn't it? High Desert. And you could climatize that, you know, keep control of everything. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful
So
setup.
I think I have some work to do tomorrow. So I think over the winter, if I can get my problem with flooding fixed, which I think I figured out how to do, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, fix it, dig up some stuff, put some rocks down, give it more area to flow away from the house, kind of reposition my whole, how do I say this, like walkway in front of the shed or the basement. I'm gonna raise up and kind of slope down so the water sheds away from it. And then if that works and I don't get it flooding this year, I'm building my room in the basement. So there's a room, like I have a perfect area. I have the 2x4s. I just need to go buy the boards, and I kind of want to put foam insulation up just to have it kind of insulated.
Speaking of boards and shit, do you guys have a rebuilding center? I mean, I don't know what it'll be called, but
Oh, like old house material?
yeah,
Yeah, we
basically,
do.
you have
Habitat for
material.
Humanity.
Try one of those. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. For me, 100%. One of those kinds of places. They literally, people will either donate old boards that they don't need anymore, or
What's that
sometimes
place
businesses
in
will donate
Dago?
things as a tax write-off, or they'll literally, as they're disassembling an old house, they'll actually take the boards. That sounds silly, I realize it, but it's like old growth wood, right? And so rebuilding centers are actually some of the only places you can get some of those old boards. But long story short, you could totally find cedar, whatever else, for cheap, way cheaper than the lumber store.
I've actually seen, so this barn at the one of my old girlfriend's house, it was her grandmother's house, and there was an old barn next to it, and it was a fucking huge. It was from when there was a farm on the hill throughout the hillside right there. There used to be a farm, and it was her house was the farmhouse with a huge barn attached to it, and all the wood was like the old wood, like big beams. People, so a company literally came in and disassembled it and paid her for the wood because it was, I guess it was worth so much money.
Yeah, there's like certain places like, yeah, you're right.
I'm
I
gonna
lost
take.
my train of thought, but yeah.
Has anyone ever heard of peach belts?
Aw, cute. Aw, cute kitty.
I think that's what it is.
Heard the name
Right
of
on,
it.
Kush.
No, sour belts. It's pretty good smelling.
Does it smell sour at all?
It does a little bit.
Yeah, I try to stay away from stuff like that smells sour and orange.
See,
Terps.
I like sour terps. Like,
I would too, but my stomach doesn't.
um,
Sorry.
Trying to think of like an old school strain I used to like that was just straight sour, like diesel, maybe diesel. Trying to remember old strains. Cause I don't mind sour. I had a sour kryptonite just recently that I liked, but I hated its sister because it was menthol.
Speaking of sour, I might not send you Charybdis, but I might just send you sour Morgana.
Hang on.
I'm gonna take a dab. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is. I usually only go an hour.
10:30.
Oh wow.
10:30.
Okay.
Your time.
My time. What time is it? Your time. I always forget you're
7:30.
literally on the other side of the like. I forget Oregon's on like the West Coast. I always think it's kind of in the middle for some dumb reason. I don't know.
Nope, we're tucked up against the Pacific Ocean.
Because I always say I'll drive there, and Fumi's like, "Hey man, do you know how far that is?"
It's gonna take 5 days.
I do. When I leave Newport, Oregon, which is right on the coast, the oldest U.S. highway in the United States is US 20, and it goes right into Boston. And there's a sign there that says Boston, 3,280 miles. So that's how far it is from the Pacific Ocean to Boston on the East Coast. That's a long ass trip. Even if you're a hardcore driver and do 700 miles a day, it's still 4.5 days.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's a lot of Hardee's hamburgers, brother.
See, if you Google it, it says you can get to California in a little over 24 hours.
In what fucking universe?
I don't know.
That's 24 hours non-stop, no breaks. Go, go, go. Yeah, good luck.
He's talking about the Cannonball Run.
Right.
That's
luck.
a movie.
Oh.
Hey, I would love to do that one day.
Hey, look up Gumball. I don't know if they still do the Gumball race, but
They still do it. The
Oh,
current I think current record's like 20 hours. Did it in a Mercedes.
Yeah, that looked like a Taurus.
It looked like a UC Ford Taurus. Yeah, did it in a Mercedes, clapped out Mercedes, did it in like 20 hours and 14 minutes. Something crazy like that.
I did the Alcan Highway all the way from Portland to Anchorage.
Damn.
And wow, that was a trip. All kinds of wildlife, bears, moose, elk. I mean, just everything. There's eagles tearing up a carcass of salmon right along the side of the road. So.
I seen a turkey vulture the other day on the side of the road, pecking at some roadkill. Big fucker.
Oh yeah.
They probably found a skunk.
No, it wasn't a skunk. I think it was a possum.
That makes more sense. Possums are really kind of lumbering.
Dude, Coot, I almost hit the fucking biggest beaver I've ever seen. And I know that sounds funny, but like this bitch was huge in the road. I had to like bob and weave her.
One of the meanest animals in the wild you can encounter. They are vicious beyond belief.
I almost hit it. It would have fucked my car up. It was that big.
Yeah. Don't forget about the Canadian geese. They're pretty vicious too.
I've hit a porcupine too. That sucks.
Yeah. So we get a lot of Canadian geese in and around Portland. A lot. And being a protected migratory bird under federal law, you can't, they're protected. And man, do they shit everywhere.
They ruin ponds. We have a pond right near us. And if it's like, I don't know, the last couple of years, there's been huge algae blooms because they shit so much and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
They trying to keep them away.
snagged that guy last year out of my pond at the greenhouse. 55 pounds.
Yeah, they get big, dude. I was really like, this thing was huge.
Yeah, they
That's
get
how big
massive.
it was.
And
That's
I
me
have a
holding
little
it.
car.
10 legs right there. Yeah, man. 55-pound beaver. Shit was massive, bro.
And they're mean. I mean,
Canadian?
like rip the skin off you.
You want to know what's
Yeah,
mean? I hear the wild boar or the wild pigs out in
Oh
Texas.
yeah. Oh fuck
They'll
yeah.
they'll fuck you up. They'll eat you. They'll eat you down to the bones, man. Then try to eat your bones.
I was 12 years old on a coyote hunt with my dad, and I watched one of my dad's neighbors get gored.
Yeah, they'll gore you.
From his groin all the way down to his foot on his left foot, his left leg, and it happened like that.
They're fast and they have
Fucking
big horns.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
tough.
that guy almost died.
They're tough.
Tusk,
Not horns.
sorry.
No, he didn't die. He almost died. That was scary, bro. Super
Yeah,
I was
luckily
on
you could catch a carotid. That's what they try to do. They want to kill you.
Yeah.
I was on a hunt. I was on a hunt in Central Texas about 4 years ago when you know we were able to we got charged, but we were able to make it back to our 4x4. And when I say this fucker chased us, we were in our 4x4, and the driver said his foot was all the way down, and this thing was still trying to run us off the road in our 4x4. That was scary. Thank
They
goodness we
will
were on,
they
like,
will hurt themselves trying to get out of a fucking cage.
And God forbid you encounter them in a pack or with a mama with babies.
Mhm.
They get really ruthless at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Look up like on YouTube. You'll see hog hunts where they get them in a cage. Well, if you don't like, if you like, you know, don't like hunts, don't look it up. But they have these pens where they lure them into a pen and then trap them in a pen, and you will see these boars like rip like steel bars. Like you'll see the bars bending.
So they
Like
have
they go ham. They go ham. Well, that's not intended. They'll go ham on the cage.
some of the YouTubers I watch have remote cages that lift up and
Yeah.
down so they drop really and they can do it from their phone.
That's what
So
I'm talking. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
those are crazy. Like they literally get a fucking message and they wait and they watch. They're like, all right, we got 5 in there, and they sell the boars to a farm that hunts them or something stupid.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what they do. We used to do that in Arizona.
All right, let me log off of this real quick. Everyone have a great night. If you want to come hang out with us, we're in Discord. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks everyone for being here. Don't forget, we have the desk auto flower desk. Damn, I'm fucking that up. Auto flower desk plant contest. Come hang out on Discord and sign up if you're down. James Loud's donating